I want to sincerely thank the leadership of Isaac Forum, from Pastor Shade to Director Sheyi to the coordinators, Bro Femi, Bro Temidaya, and every single one that have been working to, do the great things that we're seeing from Isaac's Forum. So thank you so much, Saz. Thank you so much, Maz. I appreciate each and every one.
You're welcome, sir.
Thank you, ma. Thank you, ma.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma. I want to thank also, everyone who is joining. I would want to believe that you're here because you want to experience, you want to learn one or two things that might be helpful in moving your business forward, right? So thank you for joining. I always see it as a huge opportunity whenever I'm here to maybe having conversations with people about businesses, about life, about, how to move from one point to the other. And of course, my sincere appreciation also goes to our father and our mother. They might not be on the call, Pastor Abigail, and of course, Setman, Pastor Shala, for the opportunity. So let me share my screen, and then we can start. Please just let me know when you can see my screen.
Yes, sir.
Okay, ma. It's okay. Let me know when you can see it. Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna share my screen. I don't know if can we see my screen?
Yes,
Yes, it's coming up. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
See your screen.
Okay, beautiful. All right. So this is the business education series, and the title of what we're talking about today is moving from point A to point B. So you're moving your business from one point to the other. Remember that some few weeks ago we had a similar session where we spoke about from vision to reality, and we spoke about effective goal setting for business growth. All right. We mentioned a few things in that particular class, and I would not want to repeat those things that we said in the class. What I've tried, or what I'm going to try to do today, is to make today's session extremely practical. So I'm going to simplify it. I'm not going to talk about some very theoretical things around businesses. I'm going to talk about very practical things. And I'm going to sort of give lots of examples, both that I have experienced and I have seen, right, in my career. And then, of course, I'll take questions from you. So I'm going to make this extremely practical, right? And in sort of speaking to this, you want to move a business from a particular point to another. I've designed the class today to address, number one, individuals who you do not have a business yet. Maybe you have a bright business idea, but you've not started to implement, you've not started to do anything really about the business. So you are thinking about, okay, how do I go about it? How do I translate this idea into a business? So I'm going to be speaking to people like that. I'm also going to be speaking to individuals who you have a business, you've started a business, the business is at a particular level, and you are desiring to move the business to another level. All right, I'm going to be speaking to you. I'm going to be challenging you. Okay. And then I'm also going to be speaking to people who you have a business, the business is thriving, is doing well, but they say that the largest room in the world is the room for improvement. So you can always do better, right? So I've designed the conversations today to address these three categories of people. Okay, so let's start, right? I want to start with a quote like I would always do. Can we all see the quote that is on the screen? Just finding out if my screen moved on your side. Can we see?
No, sir, it has not
No,
moved.
sir. It doesn't move.
It hasn't moved. Okay, you know that this was the same thing that happened the last time. So let me. Yeah.
Yes,
So
now it has.
it does. Well, okay. So let me do this. You know, this was the same thing that happened the last time, and and let me. Okay. Yes. So you can all see my screen, right? So design. You can see my screen.
Yes, we
Yes, please.
can.
Okay, fantastic. All right. So let's leave it like this. For the sake of for the sake of peace, we can leave it like this. Okay. All right. So a man by the name Jim Rohn said the only way it gets better. Sorry, this is for you, right? This is at least the benefit of being able to read it. The only way it gets better for you is when you get better. And what am I trying to say with this quote? The fact that the only way your business can get better, the only way your business can move from point A to point B, the first thing to think about when you think about, oh, I want to grow my business, I want to multiply my customers, oh, I want to translate this idea, into a business. The first principle, the first thing to do is never outward. The first thing to always do is always going to be inward. And that would be improving yourself, because the business would grow and the business would go. Note that. Grow and go. The business will grow, the business will go as far as you go and as far as you grow. What I have discovered is that people who lead thriving businesses at any level, right? What I have discovered is that they are always growing, they are always investing in themselves, they are always developing themselves, they are always building capacity. Because the capacity of the person who is starting a business or who is running a business, is what would carry that business to greater heights. And so the very first thing, and I'm saying this from a perspective, right? When you have a phone, you pick a phone, you buy a new phone. One of the things that have a lot of times is already automatically installed on the phone is what they call the operating system, the OS, right? For iPhone users, it's what is it now? iOS, right? For Samsung users, Motorola and all of those other brands, it's what you call what do you call it? Android, right? You say, so this operating system is already on the phone because they don't want to take chances. You can download applications, but for the operating system, they want to be sure that it's already there, right? Because the applications will be downloaded on the operating system. So the very first thing that as a business person, you want to start a business, you want to grow your business, you want to build a massive business, the operating system that must be installed in that business is a mindset of development for the person who is going to develop that business or build that business, right? So knowing that the business will go as far as you go, that becomes extremely important, right? Your capacity becomes a very important part. So I see a lot of people, you want to grow a multi-million naira business, but your mentality is the same. You've not changed your mentality. Yesterday in the Wednesday service, at least I met the end of it. Pastor Bella was talking about thinking big. And that's one of my favorite phrases, right? Thinking big. Because I understand that whatever you're starting, whatever you're running would go as far as you can see and as far as you can go. It's what it is, right? right? So big and massive businesses that make an impact on the face of the earth, are always planted in the hearts of a person who has a big mind, a big vision, wants to do something, someone who wants to do something big, right? So the only way it gets better is for you. Is when you get better. So I wanted to start with that. And getting better, what does that mean? Because sometimes these things can start sounding philosophical. And I told you I want to make this session extremely practical, so that it's not sounding philosophical. What does getting better mean? What does building capacity, what does it mean? It means to improve in 3 areas. Number 1, your knowledge, the information that you have, right? Number 2, your skills in terms of your know-how, how to improve and increase in how you are using and you are going to use the knowledge that you've gained. And then it speaks to improving your attitude. Attitude, they will tell you, is everything. Somebody wrote a book, titled the book, Attitude Determines Altitude, right? And I agree, because your attitude is extremely important. Your attitude is your behavior, right? Your attitude is your demeanor. Your attitude is how you're going to approach life, how you're going to approach growing this business. So you can gain all the knowledge, have all the skills. If the attitude is wrong, I mean, it will be of no value. There won't be any major difference. You will only be able to tell other people what to do, but you're not doing it yourself, if you get what I mean. So knowledge, skills, and attitude are 3 things. And when you add these 3 together, they will call it competence, right? But so these 3 things are very important. So how do I improve myself? Improving knowledge, improving your skills, improving your attitude. Improving knowledge, improving your skills, improving your attitude. Those are the 3 ways that you improve yourself. Knowledge of what? Knowledge of business, generally. Knowledge of the business you want to run. I see people who are saying, oh, I want to start a business, i.e., I want to start a pure water production factory. And they are just excited about the idea of starting a pure water production factory. If you ask them, okay, so what are the kinds of equipment you will buy to start a pure water manufacturing factory? They don't know, right? They don't know. People that just say, okay, let's be going, we'll be discovering it along the way. They don't know, right? So you say, oh, okay, I want to, you say, oh, this business has been operating at this level for a while. I want to scale the business. I want to let the business, improve. I've been serving, for example, 50 customers. I want to move the business to start serving 100 customers. My revenue at the moment is, let's just say, my revenue at the moment is 5 million naira, right? I want to increase and improve. I want to start earning 100 million naira at the end of 2025. And you've received all the blessings from Pastor, and you've been prayed for, you've been declaring, you've been confessing. Okay, I hear you. But do you know what it takes to run a business that is grossing a revenue of 100 million naira? Do you know there are certain structures you would have to put in place? You see, the demands, and that's why what typically happens is that sometimes some people desire to grow their business. When the business begins to grow, I mean, God has started answering prayer, it is too much for them. Because at that point, they are not aware that what happens to businesses that at a particular level, you need to start putting certain structures in place. There are certain things you used to do. You cannot be the one doing it anymore. You must hire somebody who will be doing it. Hire somebody, train the person, and trust the person to do it. Now, some people, you say, oh, let's grow revenue. And then you say, okay, hire people. You think about, I'll pay them salary. Oh, yeah, no. Let me keep doing it. You just, and say, you won't have time to come to church anymore. You are falling sick. Yeah, you'll be binding the devil. But you see, the real problem is you're not growing in knowledge. You see, so growing in knowledge becomes extremely important. What do you know about finances, about running a business? What do you know about you know the type of your business. What do you know? Who are your competitors? Who are you even competing against? Do you know that? You know, all of those information becomes important. Then your skills. Are you growing in your skills? You know, some people is the same way they manage the 1-2 vendors that they have, that they are still managing. Their customers are complaining. Instead of letting them grow in attitude, they will say that, you know, it is the fault is the first customer complained. You say it's the customer that has a problem. Second customer complained. Third customer complained. Fourth customer complained. They say it's the customers that have a problem. You'll be shocked. After a while, people will not just move away. They won't even tell you anything anymore. You'll be saying, why are you not bringing business to me anymore? They won't say anything because you've decided not to grow in attitude, because there is a way to manage a 5 customer business. There's a way to manage a 100 customer business, right? And you see, in these competencies, in these areas of improvement, you can move from beginner to expert. That's what I'm saying. Okay, so you can grow and deepen your competencies in them. So, very important, again, and I think I mentioned this in the last class, I'm not sure. You know, so there are times that in the school of knowledge and in the school of learning and the school of building and improving your knowledge, skills, and your attitude, there was a time that you might be operating at what they call the level of unconscious incompetence, right? So you did not know. Let me use driving as an example. So there's a time you did not even know you needed to know how to drive, okay? But after a while, you moved to a level where you knew you needed to know how to drive, but you couldn't drive. Then after a while, you move to a level where say, okay, you know what? I need to know how to drive and I'm learning how to drive. But this is the level at which a trailer is coming, you park, you know, for the sake of peace. Trailer passes, then you get back on the road, you know. But after a while, as you do this repeatedly, you get to a level where honestly you're doing it you're exuding and practicing this competence that you are unconsciously doing it. It becomes what they call second nature to you. So in this knowledge, I mean, the people who know and the people who are the giants in your industry, in whatever industry you want to build your business in, I can assure you that there was a time they didn't know. Everybody went through this hierarchy of competence. There was a time they didn't know. They learned it. As they learned, they grew in the competence. So today you see them as an expert, but the truth is that they learned to become experts. So there is hope. And we have the advantage of the Holy Spirit. So there is hope, right? We can grow in competence. We can grow in knowledge. We can grow in skills. We can grow in attitude and build our business into whatever we desire. Is that okay? I wanted us to go into this class with this mindset. So anything is possible. Just anything is possible. Anything is possible. Anybody who knows me, and if you hang around me and you talk with me a lot, you will discover that I have a thing for people who think big, and I do not really like it when people think small. Why? Because I've come to understand that the way life works generally, right? Generally, including relating with God, our Father, you know, thinking big is the way to go. You can never accomplish big until you think big. And that's the truth. You can never accomplish big until you think big. So it all starts from there. You know, as far as your eyes can see, it all starts from there. So you're starting a business, you're running a business, you want to grow the business, you want to move the business from point A to point B. The first thing is to work on yourself, right? Because you are the one going to be driving. You see, in moving a business, somebody has to move it. So you are the one moving this business. And the first law of motion, right? Newton's first law says an object will remain at a state of rest until a force is applied to it. Businesses do not just grow. And please, if you are writing, it's important you write this. Businesses do not just grow. If you see growth in any business, trust me, it is the input of intentional action, intentional and intelligent action. Businesses do not just grow. If you see growth in any business, it is a product of intentional and intelligent action. Okay, so what I'm going to do to us today is to tell us how to structure our thinking, right, and our actions in such a way that we can be deliberately intentional, and we can act intelligently. Okay, so I've said a business can never go beyond the visionary, right? And that is what I have been saying. It is the software operating system upon which all the applications that we are going to be putting, on this software would run. So what is the software? So how do you move a business from point A to point B? So again, you know me, I like models, right? Frameworks, because I feel that they kind of make life easy. You remember it, and then you can apply it in a very structured way, okay? And it makes your results more predictable. So I have something that, I have called the gospel model. The gospel model, and I'm going to be using the gospel model. So it's very close to gospel, all right? Gospel. So the gospel model. And I'm going to be using it to sort of talk us through the things that we would be talking about in this class. So gospel is an acronym. G means goals, O means observation, S means strategy, P means planning, and A means action. Every time I've seen people and every client I've consulted for, regardless of the size of their business, I've discovered that when we have a conversation and we use and we practicalize the gospel model, they always experience growth. I tell you, growth in the bottom line, growth in the top line, consistently, the gospel model. So let's start, right? For the sake of time, let's start with the first one, goals, right? So when you talk about goals, basically, I think in the last class, I spoke to us extensively about goals. What is a goal? A goal is what you want to accomplish, isn't it? A goal is what you want to accomplish. A goal is, what you've set as a target. Now, let me put it this way, right? I've discovered that a lot of businesses do not have goals. And when I'm talking about goals, I'm talking about realistic goals. Okay. Now, some of us started this year. You started your business. If I ask you and say, by the 31st of December 2025, can you tell me how much revenue you want your business to have grossed? 2, can you tell me by the 31st of December 2025 how much your profit would be? Your revenue is different from your profit. Your revenue is all the money that came in. Your profit is your profit. When you separate your costs, right, from your revenue, whatever is remaining is your profit. So can you tell me that? Some people, if I ask you, okay, so you have, so you are in 2025, you want your business to do well, fantastic. What are you envisaging would be the cost base of your business in 2025? Because what you do not know and what you do not envisage, you cannot reduce. You see? So some people say, oh, in 2025, I want to sell more. It's possible to sell more and actually end the year at a loss. You sold more, yes. You supposedly earn more revenue, yes, but your cost also increased. So your profits. So a small business, it's possible for a small business to be more profitable than yours, even though your revenue is huge. Because while this business is grossing in a lot of revenue, right, clients are paying. But you see, out of the money the client paid or the customer paid, part of it is cost. For example, you are a fashion designer, right? So I made cloth for a customer. How much did you charge the customer? 50,000 naira. And then the customer pays 50,000. Say, well, I've made money. Have you really made money? Out of the 50,000 naira, right? How much did you buy the cloth that you used to sew? How much did you buy the buttons? How much did you pay the person who did the embroidery? How much did you pay the person who, when you were going to buy the cloth in Yaba or anywhere else, how much did you pay as transportation? Oh, you say I drove. Oh, the car did not run on water now. The car ran on fuel. Did you factor in the money, the fuel money to go? All of that. By the time you calculate all of that, you discover that actually you had spent 45,000 naira to make a cloth that you sold for 50,000 naira. So really what happened was that they were returning the money you spent as cost to you. You have seen it as profit. Meanwhile, your profit is actually 5,000 naira. Now, somebody else can sew clothes for somebody else and at the rate of 25,000 naira, or let's even say 15,000 naira. And at the end of the day, what the person invested to make that clothes was 7,000 naira. My people, even though this person sold the clothes for 15,000 naira, you sold your own for 50,000 naira, your profit was 5. This person's profit was 8,000. That business is more profitable than your business. You see it? So what you want to do is build a profitable business. But you see, it starts with even having goals. Someone said it this way. The person said, and I think it was, what's his name now? If I look at my library, I will see the book somewhere. Brian Tracy, yes, wrote a powerful book that I would always recommend to people. You know, when people come to have conversations with me a lot of sometimes, I recommend that book. The title of the book is Goals, and I'm going to recommend it here, right? Goals. That's the title of the book. You can get the soft copy, you can get the hard copy, you know, Brian Tracy. And what he said in that book was that he said, success is goals. Everything else is commentary. I'll say that again. Success is goals. Everything else is commentary. Meaning everything else, you are just talking. You see, it starts with having clear goals for your business. Your goal can be short term, 6 months to 1 year, can be medium term, 2 years, 3 years, can be long term. You know, 50 years, 20 years, 10 years, can be long term. You see, let me explain something to you. I have studied the history of most of the biggest companies in the world today, from the Facebook, the Metas of this world, to the Amazons, to the Google, to the Tesla, to the all of them, to the Saudi Aramco. I've studied their history. And one of the things I've discovered is that all of them were clear on where they wanted. They all knew that they were going to build world-class businesses. They were clear about it. There was no ambiguity about it. They were not guessing that whether are we going to do it or not. You know the problem? A lot of times, I think that people, business, they have small goals. And you will not rise above your goals. Small goals. And that's also because the vision is small, right? Small goals. Now, some people, and it's sad that you have Christians that have God. Their father is the owner, the creator of the universe. And even them, small goals. Say, well, see, let's just do this business. Say, how much do you want to make? Say, as long as the business, say, if the day the business starts to make 50 million naira, I'll be very happy. What is 50 million naira? Some people make 50 million naira in one deal, in one night. I'm telling you. What is 50 million? Now, this is the interesting thing. You see, in the school of visioning, think big and don't use your current circumstance to define how far you can go. Don't use your current circumstance to define how far you can go. I will say it this way. You know, it's popularly said, cut your coats or your clothes according to your size. No, define your size and let your clothes fit. Don't cut your clothes according to your size. Say, oh, you know, this is what. No. It starts with creating and crafting clear goals. Someone say, how do I craft? It's as simple as saying the same way you wake up in the morning and you say, you know what? Today, I'm going to see Pastor Shade. After I see Pastor Shade, I'll spend 1 hour with Pastor Shade. After I spend 1 hour with Pastor Shade, I'm going to see Director Shei. I'll spend 2 hours with Director Shei. After I spend 2 hours with Director Shei, I'll go to church for evening service. You are creating what you are doing. You are creating goals. Goal setting is that easy. It's not complex. Let's not, sometimes we overcomplicate what is already very simple. It's as simple as look at your business. What business are you in? I don't know. Any business. Maybe you are producing chips. Fine, I hear you. Okay, so how many chips do you want to sell in 2025? It's that simple. How many are you selling now? Oh, I'm selling 2,000 now. Okay, fine. How many chips do you want to sell in 2025? It will be an aberration to say, oh, you know what? I sold 2,000 chips in 2024. With all the prophecy of divine appointments, you'll be 1,000 times bigger. All of that prophecy. You now say that I sold 2,000 chips in 2024. So how many should I sell in 2025? 2,000 and 2,100. The angels will be looking at you and say, seriously, even God will be like, say, is this one behaving like my child? Have clear goals. Have goals that challenge you, right? Add a deadline to the goal. Don't just say, you know what? Say, what do you want your business to be? To be big. What does that mean? What does big mean? What does big mean? Define it into something that is actionable. And for businesses, it is very easy. At the end of the day, one of the big ways you test the success of your business is in things like revenue, profits, right? And maybe customer base. So how many new customers do you want to have? How many repeat customers do you want to have? How much revenue do you want to gross this year? How much profits do you want to make this year? It's that simple. So the first thing is goals, right? Second thing, the O in the gospel, is observation. What is observation? Observation is very simple. Observation means paying attention, right? And looking around to capture data. Somebody say data. What is data? Information. Information about what is happening around. That is observation. Just checking out what is happening around. Okay, I want to start this business. Okay, so you're looking at it. What is the context? For example, some of us, are you even aware? Do you know what the January inflation figures of Nigeria is saying? Some of us are not even aware. You are not bothered. But you see, it has implications. It has its implications. I was hearing this evening, I was having a conversation with a colleague, and I said, oh, so tell me, what is the implication of the interest rates, on banking loans, on different things, and we're having a very interesting conversation because those things are the things that impact businesses. If exchange rate comes down, there's a huge likelihood. The exchange rate has been stable for a while. So what is the implication? We are seeing some dip, right?
Please, can you help mute? Please, can you help mute?
Yes, please. If you are not, thank you. Thank you so much, Director Shei. You are seeing some dip. Yes, ma'am. We are seeing some dip in terms of fuel prices have started, they are not the 900 and something naira. What is the implication of that on transportation? What is the implication of that on food prices? What is the implication? You see, because all of these things are connected. Do you know what's even happening? Oh, you say, what's his name? President Donald Trump is saying this about President Zelensky. You're saying, oh, is their cup of tea? That is America. We're living in a global world. You'll be amazed at how one decision from America can impact your business today in Nigeria. What is happening when President Tinubu says, oh, I want to pass a new tax law? What is the implication of passing that tax law? You just say, well, it's for some people. It's not for some people. You are smart and intelligent enough to even have an idea. What is the implication on my business? It's because it will have an implication on your business, except you want to run a business that does not pay tax. And please don't. Okay? So observe, find out what's happening around, get data. And there are 4 things you use data for. As you are observing what your competition is doing. Your competition is doing something, making a move. You are not bothered. Oh, have you observed that, instead of on Instagram, who are the people you follow on Instagram? Have you observed that, okay, people, again, using fashion, people that are in the fashion industry now, okay, there's a particular kind of material they are now using. Because more people are beginning to prefer this kind of design. Those are the things you must do. You must get data. Use data to understand what has happened, which is descriptive. Use data to understand why did what is happening, why did it happen? That's diagnostic. Use data to predict what will happen. What will happen? Because sometimes you can look at the data now and you can tell. Somebody was telling me something about, on the mainland now, there are some places on the mainland, especially Ikeja and the environs, where prices of houses, shops are more expensive than on the island. Why? So you see, rather than, so somebody says, we are building a new business, we want to open a shop. Okay, so he says that, you know what, we're going to start from the heart of Ikeja. Why are you starting from the heart of Ikeja? The kinds of customers you want to attract, are they in Ikeja or are they in Lekki? Are they in Ikoyi? Are they, those are the important questions to ask. What will happen? And then you can use data to identify what should happen. And you see, as you use data properly from your observation, understanding what's happening externally, right, the Holy Spirit begins to breathe upon it and guide you. The third part, S, strategy. Strategy sounds like a big word, right? But what is strategy? It's very simple. Strategy is how are we going to do? How are we going to approach the market? How are we going to sell? How are we going to compete? That is what strategy is. How are we going to? Because how you are going to compete also tells you how you are not going to compete, right? So that's strategy. Strategy just simply speak about how. How are we going to approach the market? How are we going to compete? How are we going to do business? That is our strategy. I believe there are 4 questions you need to answer to effectively be able to articulate what your strategy is. Number 1, the question of why does your business exist? Why does your business exist? Right? Number 2, where are we operating from? And I'm not talking about whether you're operating from Lekki or Ikeja. Where are we operating? The Nigerian environment. If you are running a business in Nigeria, if you are running a business that everybody will buy from the world, what kind of world where are we operating in and from? And who are our true competitors? Not the fake ones, the true competitors, not the people you think are your competitors. Who are your true competitors and who are we serving? Who are our customers? Let's talk about the first one. Why do we exist? Here, I would always tell people. So, of course, if you've done proper goal setting and you've done all of the things I've said earlier, you're going to be able to articulate a vision for your business, right? Your vision is, what does your business aspire to do? My people, you do not pay for dreaming big and for thinking up a vision. Nobody's going to charge you for it. So sit down and ask yourself very honestly, this is where my business is, or this is where my idea is. Okay, so but what is my view? What do I see? Do you see your business taking over the whole world? Do you see your business taking over Africa? Do you see your business taking over Nigeria? In what space? Do you want to become number 1 in the industry? Do you want to become number 2 in the industry? Do you want to become number 3 in the industry? I mean, what exactly is your vision? Then what's your mission? Your mission is why the company exists, of course. And I would explain a little bit about mission later. And then what are your objectives? Your objectives are the results that your company aims to achieve, right? So a lot of times it's just the specific things, right? Around increase revenue by X, increase profit by this. We will build 50 boreholes in 8 houses. I'm just saying, different things like that. Then your strategy, like I said, your long-term plan, what you want to achieve, your approach and your tactics. But let me go here. In defining your purpose, right? Why your business exists. A man by the name Simon Sinek, spoke about the idea of what he called the golden cycle, that every business will be successful if it can define its why it exists. And let me give you some examples. All of us, we know about Amazon, or most of us will know about Amazon. Do you know what Amazon's mission is? To be the Earth's most customer-centric company, right? To be the Earth's most what? Customer-centric company. So Amazon can do anything as long as they are being customer-centric. And see, by being more customer-centric every day, they are thinking about customers, trying to serve more customers. What is happening to them? Revenue is increasing, profit is increasing. So this is why they exist, to be the Earth's most customer-centric company. That is why they exist. They don't exist to ship things to you. Shipping things to you and doing all of that is a means to achieve this goal. I give you another example. Apple. Most of us have iPhones. Some of us are even using an iPhone to connect, or an iPad to connect with this call. Apple says what? To make the best product on earth and to leave the world better than we found it. Can you see why, even though they are registered as Apple computers, people know them for different gadgets, powerful gadgets, all right? And we've restricted HP to a few products. I don't know how many of us have used an HP phone before. Some people do not even know that HP has a phone. But Apple, everybody knows. You see, that's the difference, right? Apple wants to make the best product on earth and to leave the world better than they found it. So this is an example. And again, I'm just showing you examples. You know Unilever. Everybody will tell you that Unilever produces what? Toothpaste and the rest. But you know what they say? Their goal and their vision is to be the global leader in sustainable business. So sustainability is important to them. You know what sustainability is? All this green, green world, ensuring that they are protecting the planet, XYZ. They want to be a global leader. That's their goal. So anything that doesn't help them to become the global leader, they are not interested. Okay? Facebook give people the capacity to form communities and bring the globe closer together. So you can understand why Facebook bought WhatsApp. Facebook, there's another one they bought. I've forgotten the name now. But Facebook, they are building metaverse and having those conversations. That is why they exist as a business. Question: why does your business exist? I know a lot of us who say we exist to make money. Brothers and sisters, that is extremely fleeting. If you exist for the right reason, I can assure you money. So why does your business exist? Think about it. Think about it. What need have you seen in the world that you are trying to solve? And trust me, with the Holy Spirit, it will guide you and open your eyes to something bigger. Then number two, where are we from? And I say that in the context of the fact that they will tell you that we live in a VUCA world, right? A world with a lot of volatility, uncertainty, ambiguity, and complexity. What should you do knowing this? You must be prepared. That's my point. Prepare yourself. Do not just you saw somebody else doing it. Do not do things because you think, this business should be profitable. Get all your facts right. Facts wage war. Okay, of course, with the Holy Spirit helping you, you discover that there are times that the Holy Spirit will leave you in a path. I think a lot of times people that leave the Holy Spirit out of the things that have to do. I think the Holy Spirit is in when you want to speak in tongues, when you want to understand the Bible, when you want to. But the Holy Spirit is more interested in more things about you than that. He's interested in how to run your business. He's interested in helping you navigate, knowing when to and how to invest and where to invest. The Holy Spirit is interested in giving you a strategy to run your business. Okay? To navigate the of the world. Then who are our true competitors? And I tell this very interesting story about some of you might have heard me say it. Right? I'm going to be rounding up. Of us might have heard me say it. It's the story. The Coca-Cola story says that, a man by the name Robert as well, great man, right? He's employee to become a billionaire. And people always say that you can never become rich working for people. It's not Robert Ogwazota. Prove that wrong. You can be rich working for people who are working. Roberto Goizeta in 1980 of the Coca-Cola company, time Coca had roughly 35% of market share. Pepsi was giving them their money, right? Marketing in terms of advert, in terms of profitability in them, right? And so Roberto Goizeta, with his top exam, he asked questions. Number one, he said, what is per consumption of fluids in the world? What fluids in the world? They said in our people world, how many people at that time, how many people, what per capita consumption? And he said about 64 ounces a day. I said, so what is the per capita consumption? Out of these 64, all of the liquids people are drinking every day. What is our own share? And 2 ounces. Then he asked them, okay, so things that people are, and they were saying water, Pepsi, milk, juice, coffee. Amongst all the other things that people are drinking, what has the largest share? Water. So he told them, he said, our enemy is not Pepsi. Our real enemy is water. If you can get water than they drink, I drink more Coke rather than they would have succeeded in crushing Pepsi. The entire strategy the Coca-Cola company changed, telling us that water quenches our thirst. Some people till today, some of us till today, you are thirsty, you buy a bottle of Coke. I'm not saying you shouldn't buy a bottle of Coke, you can't want, but the truth of the matter is this, they changed strategy to see who the real competition was. My question to you is, who is your competition? Some of us are not even aware of our competition. You're just doing business, right? And some of us think the wrong person is our competition. Understanding your competition is not a bad thing. To do is for you to be able to plan. Is that okay? And the last 7, who are your customers? Understanding that you have different kinds of customers. People from the local community, you have customers from the government. Who you identified who your customer base is? Who are the people? Are you serving the very wealthy people? Are you serving, what in marketing they call it a niche? Are you serving the very wealthy people? Is it people in the middle class, as they will call it? Are you serving are just barely getting products? And when you know who your customer is, you'll be able to put your price properly for it. If you've made up your mind that it's only the HNIs, the big people of this world you want to be serving, then you know that if you charge 500,000 for your product, no problem. Just make sure that your strategy also helps you connect those people you are trying to charge. What typically happens is that you say, hey, you know what? I'm going to place my product at 500,000. So people around you are people the 500,000 they can afford is 50,000. So you're playing in the wrong market. And what happened that after 2 months, no sale, and you're complaining. If you want to praise your product point of 500,000, then create a strategy of connecting with people that can afford it. Do you understand? For example, you won't go to a car shop in Ikeja and find a Bentley there. If you find a Bentley, I'm sure it's not a Bentley you're seeing, it's a Bentley. Because a Bentley won't come and sell a car in Ikeja. You won't find second hand. It doesn't matter. Find it around. People who use Bentley know where to go and buy Bentley from. All right. P, planning. Begin to round up. What is, I just want to tell you, failure to plan is what? Planning to fail. It's planning. Planning is really all of these things we've said. Your goals, that can you articulate it into words? If you cannot win on paper, you cannot win in real life. I assure you. So, can you articulate things into planning? Is not only okay, what I want to achieve. Planning also speaks to how would I achieve it? What are the dependencies, the things that I will need to do to achieve it? Are there people I need to connect with? For example, I give you a very simple plan. Somebody says in January, March 2025, sell 50 of my products. Okay, I hear you. Sell 50 of, how are you going to products? The answer question is planning. People they have, but how? They've not the question how you want to do it. Okay, you know what? I'm going to go to I'm just go to this particular event, or I'm going to, and I must have, if you want of this your product, social media, market, how many posts and what kind of targeting. So you have to reach some people, social media, and it's time you want to reach some people that can afford your. So it's a post you posted. Who saw your post? The people who saw your capacity to buy your product. Your post are too busy. They feel your product. You must be strategic. Planning. So what you want to put that on paper. What are the dependencies? I need to get a I assure you in HOD there are plenty of them around, right? You talk and the smart around. Morayo. I mean, and there are people, and there are more people, if you say, I don't know, walk up to the Department of Integrated Comms, right, DIC, and ask them that this is what I'm looking for. Can you introduce me to? And I'm sure one of them, that's the business, or the person will just even tell you what to do, give you anything. So you try, right? Failure to plan is planning to fail. And after, then comes the very we can do for you. Action. Goals, strategy, and action. It's time to, what is action? Action is action. Do. If you do the first time, it's not really working. Every morning you wake up, and I conclude with this. The life of an entrepreneur is a very challenging one. It's challenging because, if you are going to work, you have to resume in the office by a particular time and you close at a particular time. You have some governance around your life. Of an entrepreneur, you must be self-motivating. Otherwise, there is a tendency to be lazy, and you're lazing around, and in the name of being an entrepreneur. In the governances around your life and take action. The way someone said it this way, the book of Acts was written because the apostles acted. Everybody who has done anything significant, built a business, what I discovered about them is that they were men and women of action. Take action. As you act, be growing knowledge, growing experience, be growing all of that. But action. As you act, you hire someone, you meet a bad employee, it doesn't mean you should not hire any employee again. Deal with that employee, get another. Just dreaming, act, planning, and trust God. And at the end of the day, you build a business to be proud of, and more importantly, God will be proud of. A business that will be able to fund the gospel, a business that will be able to significant face of the earth. My dream that each and every one of us, we'll build businesses. Tomorrow, we're talking about the top 10 businesses in the world, biggest businesses, profitable businesses, biggest brands in the world. There is nothing that says it cannot be any of our businesses that they are talking about. It is a possibility. And in the name of Jesus, it will come to pass. Thank you so much for listening to me. I think I'll hand over back to the coordinators. If you have questions, we can answer them, and then we call it a night. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Josh. Please, can we appreciate Dr. Joshua Ademuwagun. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, thank you, thank you
Thank you.
for all that you
Thank you, ma.
shared with us tonight. We thank God for you. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. So I want to
Thank you, ma.
believe that we have been truly, truly blessed. And in the course of the conversations we've had tonight, we have one or two things must have jumped at us, and we have taken note of them. I also expect that a few of us will also have questions. We'll take that in a bit. But if we, by way of a very short recap, it all starts with us, right? The only way it gets better is for us is when we get better. So there is so much that is locked up in that, and then that's why it's important that we continue to see lights. Thank you so much, sir. The Lord bless you for us in Jesus' name. All right. So if you have
Amen.
questions, please signify, indicate. We'll take turns so that we can manage our time um, well. Have questions? Explosion, yes. Explosion. The big God
Mm.
and small mindsets. They don't go together. I agree. Mm,
Mm.
mm, mm. All right. Do we have questions? For some reason, I'm not seeing hands. I'm not sure why. Questions? Okay, yes. Mr. Israel Festus, you have a question. Uh, please kindly
Okay.
unmute and take your question, sir.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Well, as a young entrepreneur who is trying
Good evening,
to
sir.
can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
No, I think there is a background noise. Not sure where it's coming from.
The buzzing.
Please, if you are not speaking, let me know.
There is a buzzing sound. Maybe you can just type your question. You can just type your question, sir. There's a buzzing sound. Thank you.
Or if you're using headset, earphone, or earbuds, maybe you can remove it and just speak through your phone directly. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, any other question apart from Mr. Festus while he does that? Okay.
Ma, there's a question in the chat
So
box,
there's a
and
I've
question.
seen a
Mr.
All
question
Peter
right,
from.
let me
is
take that.
also raising his hand.
Okay, so sorry, whether it's a Mr. or a Miss Cheslow Advantage. Thank you, sir. You didn't use any Nigerian or indigenous company or business in your example, sir. Is there a reason why?
Yes,
Pastor.
there's a reason why. Because I don't want you to be thinking. I don't want you to just think Nigerian. I don't want to just think Nigeria, right? I want you to think global, right?
Mm,
You can, you can then. I mean, if you want to narrow the vision only to Nigeria, fine. But let's start with Africa, the world, right? And
mm,
also it's simple. I also because so the reason why in my examples I'll talk about, so if you look at the examples I used in terms of vision, mission, those were in the scheme of things, they'll call those companies, most of them, the biggest companies in the world. The only ones I didn't mention was Google or Microsoft, and it was deliberate, right? So, and I mean, those are companies that have done great things in the world. And if you observe, some of them, they are big in assets. And what I mean by that is, so you have a Unilever that is a manufacturing company, that's factories, and all of that, big everywhere. Then you also have a Facebook that just has a campus, right, in one place in the world, but is influencing the entire world. What am I trying to say? So I also didn't want you to start thinking in terms of, oh, big company. So we are building here, building here, building here. Sometimes it is not necessary to have buildings everywhere to be big. That's what most of these tech companies have taught us. You can be big by virtue of the product and the service you offer, and be influencing the entire world by virtue of the product and the services you offer. And I want you to think big, right? I want you to think global. That's why I didn't really use indigenous companies. We have some good indigenous companies in Nigeria, but very honestly, they are not my benchmark. And I will round up by saying this. Someone said this, even though there's a part of it I don't really agree with, but the person said, if you aim for the tree, if you miss, you fall on the ground. It says, but if you aim for the stars, if you miss, you fall on the tree. So what am I trying to say? Think big.
Thank you, sir. Think big. Think big. Mm, thank you. Thank
What? This
you.
will not
All
be
right.
at you.
Yes, sir.
I don't think so.
Go on, sir. All right. So, Mr. Israel Festus, are you ready to take your question?
Okay. I see that Mr. Israel has posted something on the chat.
Okay. As a young entrepreneur in the agricultural sector, how does one go about soliciting for investors? As we know, capital is a big deal.
Yes. Very good question. Very good question, Mr. Israel. The truth is this. I usually tell people this. What is the the primary capital every business needs? A lot of people need money, but I disagree. Capital, any business, whether you're in the agricultural space, the mining space, the tech space, anyone, the primary capital that you need is an idea. That's the primary capital, the idea. That's the first thing. Then, of course, you will need funds to fund this idea, right? So that the idea can grow. Well, it's a number of things. People will tell you you can raise capital from friends, and I'm talking about funds now, from friends, from family. But what I've discovered is that how powerful and unique your idea is, a lot of times will define and determine the attraction of capital to you. And I'm talking about funds now. Now an institution called NIRSAL, NIRSAL, right? It's an acronym for something. And it's a Nigerian company. It's something developed, it's powered by CBN. And their goal and what they do is to fund agricultural initiatives, right? Even though when they discovered that people in the South were not leveraging them, they started focusing more on the North. But the truth also is this. Those are companies that will hold you accountable for the funds, because the problem a lot of times is not that investors do not want to give money. People that have explored investing, you will discover that with venture capitalists, right? One thing that is extremely important to them is the management of their funds. So you say you register a business. So the first thing you did was you registered a business, and you registered it as a business name, right? Not bad. But if you register it as a business name, then you go meet a venture capital, say you should fund your project. He's not going to fund it, because, as a business name, the liabilities is you. You can run, if you run away, the business has run away, their money has run away, right? So it starts from even something that basic. Then they are looking at, okay, so if I give you X number of money, how will you use it? A lot of people that go to venture capitalists for funds, They do not have a clear plan of how they plan to use the money they're asking for. And the venture capitalists can see it. Now, a lot of people do not have a clear plan. Why? Because they do not even know about the industry they are venturing into. So you say, oh, I mean, so I don't know. You say you're an agri, sir. I don't know what part of it. So it can be fishery, for example, or pig farming, you know. And then they're asking you some very critical questions. Okay, if a disease comes in, what happens? They are not answering intelligent, and the plan is not showing that there is intelligent answers. This person has thought through this thing. This person has the experience. This person can manage their funds effectively. Then the other thing they look at is, okay, so if they see that this person has the technical know-how, then they now go into, okay, does this person have the structure? Who is the alpha and omega of your bank account? Then the company has a bank account. You are the only signatory. You are looking at that. This one just sign all the money and go away. There's some people are even going to meet a venture capitalist for funds, and inside the plan, the business plan, that's what they call it, a business plan. The business plan is that buy Prado for the CEO, who is you. Get house for the CEO. This one, you're not looking for money for your business. You're looking for money to live life large. Right? And I'm being serious, and I've seen these things happen and play out. So what am I trying to say? You want to raise capital, and I'm talking about funds. So you have is number one, make sure the idea is a quality idea. It's not agriculture, not the generic idea. Quality idea that can sell. Have all of the right information about that idea. How would this idea grow? How would this idea do well? Because venture capitalists are giving you money to get returns. They are not charity organizations. They are not the Good Samaritan. So what does that mean? They give you 5 naira. They want you to be able to tell them that in the next one year or 2 years, I'm going to give you back 10 naira. So that's what they want to be hearing, because they are not charity. Not charity. They want to be saying, oh, what returns am I going to get on the investment? Then again, sometimes some venture capital will ask you, so how much of the equity are you giving me in the business? In terms of, okay, how much of the business do you want me to own? You say nothing. Or you say, okay, I'll give you 2% equity. You want to give me 2% equity, and you want me to give you all the money that will fund your business, Abba. So it's just a mixture of those things. So, I mean, I think you want to get, I would not, I mean, except if you are so sure that the returns would be greater than and higher than the inflation rates in Nigeria, I might not always subscribe to going to a bank to get a loan, except you are sure the returns will trump, right, the inflation rate. If you are not sure that will happen, then stick with venture capitalists, money from friends, money from your savings. And a lot of times we do not really need what we are claiming we need. Sometimes we can actually start small and we can grow, right? So that's it. That's my view.
Thank you, sir. And a last question. In gathering data as part of the surveying process, when you were talking about observation, do you have specific tools?
Yes.
Do you have specific tools or platforms you can recommend?
Absolutely, ma. I have specific tools and platforms I can recommend, right? But like I said at the beginning, I'm trying to keep this very simple. So I don't want to mention complex tools that I know that to subscribe to those tools, you are spending $2,000 or something, which, I mean, so for example, Bloomberg is a fantastic tool, right? But how much the amount to subscribe to it? So let me make it very simple. Very simple. You want to gather data as part of your surveying process, and you are starting or you are running. You can do something as simple as, if you see that Instagram that we go to and we visit, with Instagram, right? Have you observed? You type baby shoe, all of a sudden, every post, different posts from baby shoes, that's coming to you, right? You'll be amazed at how much data you can gather from just scrolling through Instagram, if you get what I mean. If you go online on Google and you say, I want to start a training business, value of training business in Nigeria, you'll be amazed at all of the articles you will see that can give you data. Then if you need to get primary data, all of that will be secondary data, right? You want to get primary data, then you can up a short survey that you do, and you send the survey to your friends to fill. Or I don't know how many of you have seen some WhatsApp posts or Instagram posts, Instagram or maybe Facebook posts that it will ask you a question, maybe one or two questions, right? That, okay, can you quickly help me fill this survey? And what is service? You click yes, you click, just making it simple and sharp. You get all the data you need. So you might not necessarily go and start subscribing to very complicated data. Sometimes just observing, looking around, asking the right people the right questions, people that might have done all the work. You just come in and you walk into the harvest, would help you. So that would be my answer, really.
Thank you, sir. Wow. I think we just got two very long notes. Let's see. Please, I just started a business recently. I
Yes.
sell raw foodstuffs, but a few weeks ago, I added provisions to what I sell because there's a school in front of my shop. And what I
Okay.
do mostly is sell and buy what's needed. My question is, am I supposed to separate the money because it's the proceeds from the previous day that I used to buy the next day? And mostly, I usually don't know how much I sold from what and what my proceed is at the end of the day.
Okay. A good question, ma. Very good question. Because I remember many years ago, I was helping my mom, blessed memory, to manage her shop, right? One of the first things I'll tell you is this. Can you buy a notebook? A notebook, see, or, you can just look in the house, all these wedding jotter that they give you. You can just have that notebook. And from the notebook, right, you can practically start writing things as you sell. Make sure you write it in the notebook. I love our Igbo brothers. I don't know how many of you have gone, you want to buy something from our Igbo brothers. They will tell you, see, they come, they open one notebook, they look at it, they come back, tell you that, don't be that amount I buy them. You see, that's data-driven decision. They looked at it and say, no. Because what that notebook will do is you're writing down the item, how much you bought the item, which has become cost. And as you sell items, you are recording it. At the end of the day, before you go to sleep or you leave the shop, make sure you balance your accounts in terms of this is what I bought and this is what I sold. Very important, because if you don't do that, then you don't know, like you've rightly said, I don't know how much. So everything is lumped up together and you'll be guessing what your profit is, right? Because when you do that, that is when you even know to say, okay, maybe I should increase my profits by 5 naira or 10 naira. Otherwise, you just discover that you are selling, you are buying. So what you're actually doing is you're a conduit for people, to be enjoying. You are not really in business. Because ideally, what should happen is that after a while, the goods you bought the biscuits you bought today, right? You might have bought 1 carton today. What should happen is that from that 1 carton, you should be able to generate enough money to buy 2 cartons. Later, 3 cartons. And so each carton is generating another carton. That's what should happen. Not that each carton, you are not even sure of how it's generating. So you are now adding money from the foodstuff to buy another carton. It shouldn't work that way. It should be multiplying itself. After a while, you become even a wholesaler. You are selling and you are using it. So that's when you are really in business. So for me, my sister or my brother, I don't know. First, my advice is get a notebook and document the items you bought, how much you bought them, because that becomes your cost. And how much do you want to sell it? You write it there. And then when you do sell it, keep a record for every item that you sell in your shop, no matter what. Keep a record of it, so that, and at the end, you count the money you have and the transfers that were made, and how much do you have in your bulk record of money, and how much do you have in your account. They must tally. If it doesn't balance, you know what, the bankers will tell you that they are not going home because they are trying to balance accounting, because it must balance. If it doesn't balance, there's a problem. Something went wrong somewhere. If you don't do that, it gets all lumped up and you are not doing yourself a lot of good. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. All right. I think we have one more. We are at a pivotal point in our growth. We have two key investment opportunities: expanding our client base through international network membership that's valued at about $2,500, or improving our infrastructure with a better office space. Both are crucial, but with our current resources, we need to prioritize. I'd love to hear your perspectives on which investments you would advise.
Okay, thank you, ma. So from what I'm reading, right, and what you've said, you want to, okay, you have two key investment opportunities: expanding your client base through international networks. So, I mean, and then the other one is improving your infrastructure with a better office space. Well, when you say better office space, so I'm under the presupposition that you currently have an office space, right? Maybe it's not as fantastic as you would want it to be. But the first point you've mentioned is improving your client base. Now, I usually tell people this: the first need of a business is our customers. If you don't have customers, you are not in business. You're in something else, but not business. So to be in business, it means you have customers. And what it means is customers are paying you. The more customers you have paying you, the more money you have. The more money you have, the more things you can do, you can explore, you can do all of that. Okay, so you have a shared office space at the moment. Between you and I will go for the client base expansion. If I have more clients, I can assure you I will move to a better office than the one I currently want to move into right now. Anything that expands my client base, just be sure that it expands your client base. If it expands your client, because yes, you move to a new office, with the way businesses have been, if today you are using a shared office space, right, that means your business is such that a shared office space might not have a lot of impact on what you are doing, right? See, you can keep doing it or move into an office that might not be that as expensive as what you really wanted to move into, or have a plan. Say, you know what, we'll use this for the next 6 months. We invest in expanding our client base. I can assure you after 6 months, if you do this right, the kind of money you will have, you move into a better office space. So that's what I would advise.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir. And I think that's the last of the questions that we have in the chat box.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I think at this point, I'll hand over to Pastor Shadi. Pastor Shadi, ma'am.
Well, Jesus, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
I don't know. In fact, I think because, of the time, we just have to let you go. We know that you've had a long day, but I mean, please, can we just unmute and say thank you, Pastor Joshua, Dr. Joshua? Thank you so much, sir, for your time. I have
Thank
noticed
you,
so many
Thank you,
things.
ma'am.
I have noticed so many things that, even I will do so. Thank you so much, sir. Always a blessing, always impactful. There has never been, a session that we've not been greatly impacted. We just want to say thank you, sir, and God bless you. Thank you
Amen.
for all you do, and thank you for your love for the entrepreneurs and for the iForum. We do not take it for granted, sir. God bless you. Thank you so much. Like Pastor will say, this is not your first time here, but we know it's also not your last time here.
No worries.
We will definitely be back, but maybe we'll just give you a breather, but we will be back. All we
Thank
can say is thank you, sir, and a big God bless you. Thank you,
you.
sir.
Amen.
God bless.